Welcome, my dear Leos, both longtime companions and those who have just stumbled into this space we call Golden Fortune Leo. Today we gather under the blazing fire of your sign to explore what awaits you until the end of August. This is not just a horoscope snack, it's a carefully woven narrative that combines astrology, psychology, and the timeless wisdom of the human spirit. Think of it as a collective map, pointing you toward the lessons, revelations, and yes, even the gossip, that will soon circle your name. And if you are wondering whether this applies only to your sun sign, let me remind you that the full richness of your story also involves your ascendant, moon, Venus, and Jupiter. Life, especially for a Leo, is never a one-note performance, it's a symphony, often with a dramatic drum roll or two. As someone who has studied human behavior for decades, I can tell you that this period is a true threshold moment, almost like a final rehearsal before stepping into the grand production that is the Year of Triumph 2025. Now, let's talk about the flame. The oracle reveals sacred lust, and while the word might raise an eyebrow or two, its meaning runs deeper than fleeting romance. It is about rediscovering your connection to life itself, the spark that makes you wake up excited rather than weary. Maybe it's a hobby you buried under responsibility, maybe it's a passion you thought had grown stale. Suddenly, like a fire-fed fresh air, it returns with vigor. I like to call this the Leo glow up. And when a Leo glows, the entire room doesn't just notice, it rearranges itself to bask in your light. Psychologically, this is the moment of re-engagement, when purpose replaces doubt, when what felt meaningless becomes meaningful again. For the chosen ones among you, this is not a coincidence. It is a reminder that joy is not frivolous, it is sacred. It is not optional, it is your destiny. And because Leos love a little humor with their wisdom, let me add, joy is also cheaper than therapy, though perhaps not as punctual. In Buddhist terms, reconnecting with joy is a practice of mindfulness. It brings you back to the present, clears the fog of regret, and lets you see that life is not meant to be endured, but savored. So until the curtain falls on August, let this be your mantra: reclaim what sets your heart ablaze, and let the world adjust to your warmth. When we arrive at this point in the reading, Leo, the story takes an intriguing turn. The cards of the lover and the gift appear together, a pairing that often signals a surprise coming your way. Now, surprises for Leos are a double-edged sword. You love the drama of it, but you also secretly want to have controlled the narrative all along. What these cards suggest is that something seemingly small, even ordinary to others, lands in your lap like buried treasure. It might be an unexpected sum of money, a financial break you weren't counting on, or perhaps information so valuable it changes the way you see a person, a situation, or even yourself. The beauty here is not in the size of the gift, but in its meaning for you. For one person, a cup of coffee is just a morning ritual. For another, it is the spark that ignites a conversation leading to love, partnership, or opportunity. That's the energy here. Something that doesn't look grand at first glance turns into pure gold in your hands. And of course, once you receive this piece of news or resource, conversations begin to swirl around it. Leos are known for their love of storytelling, so your first instinct might be to share it with your circle. But the wisdom here, the psychological lesson, is restraint. Not every truth requires a stage, and not every secret benefits from a spotlight. Sometimes real power is knowing when to roar so the world hears you, and when to purr softly so only those you trust feel your warmth. Now, following that revelation, the next sequence of cards speaks to something even deeper: the Eight of Swords, Death, Justice, and the Six of Cups. These are not cards of small talk, they are cards of reckoning. They represent closure, endings, and the kind of peace that only comes after wrestling with doubt. Maybe you walked away from a relationship, cut ties with a toxic friend, or left behind an environment that drained your light. At the time, you may have second-guessed yourself, wondering if you acted too harshly or too soon. These cards step in now like an old professor returning your paper with a bold red A+ at the top. The message is clear: you did the right thing. In Buddhist terms, this is karma aligning, the balance of cause and effect finally tipping in your favor. Letting go is rarely easy. Humans cling to the known even when it hurts, but liberation always brings peace. It's the moment when the knot in your chest loosens and you realize the past no longer holds you hostage. To seal this transition, the reading offers a mantra: I accept my decisions. My conscience is at peace. Simple, elegant, and potent. Write it down, save it to your notes, make it your phone wallpaper if you must. And if anyone dares question your choices, here's where humor can carry the lesson further: just send them this mantra in all caps. Nothing ends a debate faster than spiritual wisdom shouted like a rock concert poster. That's the Leo way: equal parts fire, grace, and a wink of laughter. At this point in the story, Leo, the cards remind us that not every visitor to your kingdom comes with flowers and good intentions. The Fox card appears, and if there is one thing I have learned in decades of studying both astrology and psychology, it's that the fox always represents cunning. This is the clever figure who sidles up with charm, with just enough flattery to disarm you, and perhaps even with receipts, the modern equivalent being digital screenshots or whispered confessions caught in the glow of a smartphone. What matters is not the drama of their approach but the clarity it brings you. At last, you see someone's true colors, and let me assure you, they do not gleam in royal purple like yours. Instead, they look faded, pale, and unworthy of the trust you once extended. The outcome, however, is not sorrow but relief. You will say, perhaps with a little dramatic flair of your own, "Thank goodness I walked away." And it will be true. For Leos, whose hearts are vast and generous, the temptation to forgive and forget can be great. But wisdom, as both astrology and Buddhist teaching remind us, lies in discernment. Compassion does not mean letting a snake coil itself around your throne. Protect your kingdom, chosen royal, and remember that not every creature deserves a place in your golden court. And then we come to the real turning point, the closing of doors. The cards of the scythe, the birds, and the rats appear like a chorus in a Greek tragedy, warning you that this is the final cut. The door is closed, the key thrown into the ocean, and even if you wanted to retrieve it, you could not. For some Leos, this may feel both terrifying and exhilarating. After all, no sign loves a grand finale quite like you. You will likely talk about it, and if we are being honest, you might even start the gossip yourself. Let us face it, Leos thrive on dramatic storytelling, particularly when they occupy center stage. And that is fine, provided you do not turn it into a full-scale Broadway production. Humor, after all, can temper pain. So here is my advice: resist the temptation to make a PowerPoint presentation outlining the betrayal, the lessons learned, and the emotional bullet points. Closure is not a business meeting, it is a spiritual release. The cards do not stop there. In fact, they deliver a forecast for the next 15 days, and it is rich with lessons and opportunities. First, someone with an agenda will approach you. Whether this person comes dressed as a friend, a colleague, or even a flirt, your instincts will whisper the truth. Trust them. The fox we mentioned earlier is not the only trickster in the forest. Second, beware at work. The cobra often hides in the tall grass of office politics, and sly colleagues may try to test your patience or undermine your authority. Here, you must roar, not to terrify, but to establish boundaries. Authority is not aggression, it is clarity. Third, a glow-up is on the horizon. Beauty, self-care, or perhaps the spark of a new crush could brighten your days. When Leos glow, the entire cosmos notices, and this season, that glow may come in the form of romance or the satisfaction of investing in your own body and spirit. Fourth, there will be another round of cutting toxic people. Yes, again. But this time you will wield the scissors with sharper precision and swifter claws. No lingering doubts, no second guessing, just clean, confident action. And fifth, the money flow grows stronger. Salary increases, side hustles expanding, or opportunities for new income streams begin to take root. The seeds you have planted earlier now start to sprout, reminding you that prosperity comes when courage meets preparation. What fascinates me here, from both a psychological and spiritual perspective, is how these events weave together into a tapestry of transformation. This is the kind of cosmic weather that separates the chosen ones from the crowd. Anyone can stumble through gossip, disappointment, or office politics. But only those who learn to transform pain into wisdom, and gossip into power, rise above the noise. For Leo, this period is not simply about surviving betrayal or closing doors. It is about reclaiming your narrative, stepping into the role of author rather than character, and embodying the lesson that liberation is not loss, it is triumph. As the Buddha once taught, when one door closes, it is not emptiness that remains, but the opening of space for clarity, peace, and growth. So laugh at the absurdities, honor your heart, and keep your crown steady. The stage is yours, and the story is only just beginning. There comes a moment in every Leo's journey when the mind, restless as it is, begins to replay old stories on a loop. Maybe I should have tried harder, the thought whispers. Maybe I should have stayed longer, forgiven more, carried the weight a little further. But the wisdom of the cards interrupts that cycle with a firm and liberating truth: you did enough. It wasn't for you. The doors that close are not failures, they are protections. In psychology, we call this cognitive closure, the relief that comes when your brain no longer circles around unfinished business. In spiritual terms, it is karma balancing itself, the universe pulling you away from what would only wound you further. And in the everyday humor of life, it is like realizing you've been trying to fix a leaky faucet with duct tape when the wiser move was simply to call the plumber and walk away. The oracle sums it up in a simple yet profound reminder: love your world. It does not tell you to love the world as some grand, impossible task, but your world, your small circle of daily rituals, your friends who genuinely cheer for you, the quiet mornings when the coffee is strong and the air is still. That is where joy begins. And that is precisely how the year of triumph 2025 truly starts, not with the roar of applause from others, not with the glitter of recognition, but with the soft, steady peace of knowing you are content within yourself. When you love your world, you no longer wait for validation. You glow because your heart is at ease, and everyone around you feels the warmth. As August draws to a close, the message for Leo becomes crystal clear. You will reclaim joy, not the fleeting kind that comes from attention, but the deep joy that arises when you trust your own path. You will cut away what drains you, wielding those fiery claws not in anger, but in clarity. You will celebrate beauty, self-love, and perhaps even a new romance, because when Leos glow, they attract more than admirers, they attract opportunities. Money, too, finds its way back into your orbit, reminding you that prosperity often follows courage. And most importantly, you will rest in peace with your choices. That phrase may sound final, but in truth it is the beginning of freedom. The past no longer binds you, the future no longer frightens you. You are here, now, and you are enough. Because true royalty doesn't chase validation, it simply glows. This is the essence of Leo. The sun does not ask the flowers to applaud its rising, it shines because shining is its nature. And on Golden Fortune Leo, I remind you once more, you are more than a sign. You are a story still being written, a character whose chapters grow richer with every trial and every triumph. So, my dear Leos, take this as both a conclusion and an invitation. Enjoy your life with the drama, humor, and passion that only you can bring. Laugh at the absurdities, cherish the blessings, and let your light warm those around you. And if these words have resonated with you, if they've sparked even a moment of recognition in your heart, I ask you to like this video, share it with those who might need the same reminder, and subscribe to Golden Fortune Leo. Here, your story is honored, your spirit is celebrated, and your triumphs are always just the beginning.